All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, YouTube? We're back with the Sunday Night Football breakdown here on the SHIPIT Nation YouTube station. I got my guy Hamish, like we always got every Sunday, coming to you, bringing these winners for this Sunday night game. We got a good one here, Hamish. I'll bring you in right away, man. Happy Sunday. How we doing? How's your travel? I know. Good luck in that FanDuel live final. I believe you're in that final, right? If I'm not mistaken there. Online final, if you will. So good luck there. Hopefully you crush that. I know our guy G Risen's in the DraftKings final. Got a couple other guys, members, things like that, qualified for these final events that are going off. But we got a 41 total here tonight, 3.5-point spread. Ravens favored on the road here in Jacksonville. But how's your weekend, man? Happy Sunday. How we doing?
Yeah, doing good. Yeah, down here in Miami. I think this is the last ever FanDuel live final that's actually in person. So going to soak it up. There's some members down here. Hoops in the final as well. He didn't make it to Miami, but we're down here in this hotel room, as you guys can see. It should be a good game. It's been raining all day down in Miami. Obviously, this game's up in Jacksonville. There's going to be some wind, going to be some rain up there tonight as well. So we need to touch on that as we dive in.
Yeah, no. Obviously, that's kind of dictated by the total right now, 41.5 total in this one here. Let's jump right in. Obviously, if you guys are new, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. We're going to talk captain first, as we always do. And anytime Lamar's on the slate, man, he's got to be a talking point. But he's $3,000 more expensive than Trevor Lawrence, $3,600 or $3,300 more than ETN. And a whole lot more than the next closest Baltimore piece and Zay Flowers. Talk about this captain position. Obviously, Lamar, right? Highest ceiling floor combination on the slate, especially against a team in Jacksonville who can't stop a quarterback, especially a mobile quarterback like Lamar Jackson, who, I mean, he's got a 30% rush share in this offense, a 33% red zone rush share too. I mean, this guy does it all, right? Coming off a massive game last week where he dropped 35. Before that, he was very underwhelming, right? 14, 23, 15, 12, 11. Does he repeat that kind of ceiling performance from last week here against this Jacksonville team? Where are you going at the captain position here, Hamilton?
Yeah, I mean, the captain, Lamar's a clear 3,000. Yeah, $3,000 ahead of the next guy, Trevor Lawrence. I don't know if we've seen that all season. Lamar's a great play, but I think this game, just with the way the game's going to play out, I think it trends more towards, that Chargers game on Sunday night that we saw a couple Sunday nights ago. With that being said, I think it's slower paced. I think it's lower scoring with the weather, and just this is a playoff type atmosphere. This game is going to go a long way in determining who gets home field advantage throughout the playoffs. So I think it's Lamar. I don't think this is a ceiling Lamar game. Obviously, I could be wrong, but I think it's going to be, like I said, I think he's going to be lower than he should. I'll have him, if I'm building 20 teams, I'll have him in a couple teams, but he's not my favorite captain tonight. My favorite captain for these Ravens would be Zay Flowers at 13-2. I really like Zay Flowers tonight. I think he can get in those open spaces. This Jaguars defense is not very good against the pass. And he's, he can take it deep for sure, but they do a lot of stuff end around. He had that end around against the Chargers going back to that Sunday night game. So they find the way to get him the ball with bad weather. I think this game kind of plays into him. So give me some Zay Flowers. And then on the Jaguars, I'm going to spread it around amongst Trevor Lawrence, ETN, Ridley, and then apparently the guy that scores a touchdown every week, Evan Ingram. I don't mind him at all at 11-4 in the captain spot. We all know this Ravens defense is very, very tough, though. So it's going to be a matter of, how many Jaguars do I want to play? Because I do think the Ravens ultimately win this game. So it would probably be more of a, 4 Ravens and a 2 Jaguars. I mean, I don't mind a 2-4, but I do think the Ravens handle the Jaguars tonight in Jacksonville.
Yeah, no, excellent talking points. I do kind of agree with you there. On a slate like this, I mean, I'm expecting probably 25 to 30% ownership on Lamar for good reasons in the captain spot. I'm only playing a couple teams. I'll just be fine being underweight on that, right? And just building a different roster construction. Because if you go Lamar in the captain spot, you're going to get down to guys like Nelson Aguilar, right? The defenses are going to pop in there. Guys like Zay Jones, things like that are going to pop in there. And these value plays overall aren't the greatest, right? I mean, if you look at the flex values, I mean, it drops off pretty quickly, right? I mean, you got Rashad Bateman, who doesn't get a ton of targets and stuff. He's 3,200. Justice Hill, obviously there with that obviously multiple options there. Parker Washington's now up to 4K on the Jacksonville side. You got Luke Farrell, whoever that is, Will Farrell wannabe or something, right? Whoever he is, $1,200 there. Tim Jones. I mean, it's very gross. And 18.6 is a hefty price point to play when you still got ETN, right? You still got Trevor Lawrence. You got Calvin Ridley. You got my boy Evan Ingram, who I like a ton here. The DVP rankings might be a little skewed here because tight ends do fare pretty decent against this Baltimore team here. Evan Ingram obviously seems now that ever since he scored 2 weeks ago, now he's got 3 touchdowns in 2 weeks here since not scoring a touchdown, right, all season long. 23 and 33 DraftKings points in the last 2 games. Now gets a 11.4 price point here, which makes a lot of things work. So I do like Evan Ingram quite a bit at the captain position. I like Calvin Ridley a lot at the captain position. Those 2 guys for me on the Jacksonville side are my preferred. And then on the Baltimore side, I like Zay Flowers. And then I also like Mr. Isaiah Likely here, who's got one of the stone nut matchups, Jacksonville. Tight ends obviously smashed this team. Likely's coming off a 7 target, 5 reception, 83 yards, 17 yards shy of that bonus, did pick up a TD. I like Likely a lot here. It's pretty likely that I'm going to have some Likely in the captain spot here tonight. I'll tell you that right now. So I do like him. So both tight ends, something about these tight ends on Showdown, man, whatever it is. I got a soft spot in their heart for tight end captains, but it's just what it allows you to do with your roster construction. These guys are typically priced in the low 11Ks or low 10Ks, and it just gives you a much better build than avoiding some of these cheap punt, Russian roulette type plays down at the bottom. What's your take on those? And then go ahead and rank your 4 favorite captains here tonight.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with everything that you said there. Likely's in a great spot. I mean, we didn't touch on Odell Beckham, who's had, been playing better. I don't think I'll get there in the captain, but I don't think it's the craziest thing. I mean, obviously we're recording this at 10 in the morning on Sunday, and I know weather does sometimes get overblown, but if the winds are really howling and it's raining, the Ravens are absolutely fine with turning around and handing it off, I think, 30 to 40 times. So I don't mind Odell Beckham. I don't think I'll have him in the captain, but I don't think it's the worst play. I do like Likely at $400 less there. So for me, the way I'd rank the captains, I'd say Zay Flowers would be number 1 for me, Calvin Ridley number 2, Trevor Lawrence number 3, and then Lamar Jackson, Evan Ingram will kind of round out my captains tonight.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown there. I'll give 5 because I'm going to give a pretty low owned option here that I think you could see break out here a little bit. I'll touch on him in a little bit. But my favorite captain here for sure is definitely going to be Calvin Ridley or Zay Flowers. I like both of those guys a lot. And then the 2 tight ends, Evan Ingram Likely. And then my punt captain option here is going to be Keaton Mitchell here. This guy's explosive. He's got a really good matchup here. Jacksonville struggles against running backs. And this guy is, I just see them giving him more run here. They're going to need him in the playoffs here. He's an explosive player here. I get it. It's a 3-headed split there, right? Between Gus Edwards and Justice Hill here. But Keaton Mitchell, I think, is their best running back. 8,700 for him in a good matchup here against Jacksonville. He can do it all, right? He's gotten a couple targets the last couple weeks. He's an explosive guy, right? Last week, 9 for 54. Week before that, 9 for 64, right? He's almost averaging 6-7 yards a carry. If he gets his carry load up, he could explode here. You do need him. One thing with Mitchell is you need him to break it on limited touches, right? Because he's not going to get the lion's share of the touches. That's obviously Gus Edwards there who gets the bulk there. But I do think this is a pretty interesting spot for him. So in 150 max, 20 max, large field, I wouldn't hate a sprinkle of Keaton Mitchell here in the captain spot. Let's jump into the flex position. Obviously, all the same points from the captain apply to the flex here, but I do want to bring out a couple guys to you. Dearness Johnson is all the way up to 6,200, right? You got Gus Edwards at 7,400, where you got Keaton Mitchell at just 5.8K. You got Justin Tucker, obviously one of the best kickers in the league of all time, 5,400. But McManus has also been a pretty solid kicker, right? He's 4.8K. And then you got the Ravens defense here against a hobbled Trevor Lawrence. Ravens defense can pressure the quarterback. I think there's in line for a lot of sacks and stuff like that here, even being on the road. 4,400 for them is definitely interesting. And then obviously the Jags at 3,600 there. Touch on the kickers and the defenses, and then other flex plays, overweight, underweight stands you're looking at taking here tonight.
Yeah, like both of the kickers tonight. Yeah, a little bit of high price. Tucker and McManus 5.4 and 4.8. I don't mind those. Like you said, this Ravens team, this defense is very good. Facing a banged up Jaguars offense with Trevor Lawrence, obviously missing Kirk again tonight. I'm going to tell you one of my biggest fades tonight. My biggest stands is fading Zay Jones. I won't have any Zay Jones. 14 targets last week, which obviously a boatload of targets. This man just can't get open, and they throw him the ball, and they were having a trailing game script last week in Cleveland. They were behind the whole game. Zay Jones just not very fast, not very good at getting in and out of his break. Can't catch the ball, and that was evident with, I think he went with 5 for 23 last week. So I'm fading Zay Jones. I won't have any Zay Jones. I think he'll be popular. People will do some game log watching 5, 6. But I'm with you. I'd rather go right up over $200 or more to Keaton Mitchell at 5.8. So I won't have any Zay Jones. And then kind of lower realm. I don't mind the Jags defense. And then you said Nelson Aguilar earlier. Nelson Aguilar's kind of been boom or bust all season. Has 3 touchdowns on the year. Can he get behind the defense? I think so. But I don't mind Nelson Aguilar. I think you're going to have to play 1, maybe 2 players down here, just depending on how you do your builds. But give me some Nelson Aguilar. Give me the Ravens D. Give me the 2 kickers. And my fade of the night will be Zay Jones at 5,600, excuse me.
Yeah, no, I definitely like that take there. I do think another cheap punt option here in that Nelson Aguilar range is Justice Hill. It is pretty much a three running back by committee split here in Baltimore. My favorite is Keaton Mitchell. I do think the field kind of agrees with me there. It's just the pricing alone. He's been the most explosive guy in this offense. Obviously, once you get inside the 5, it's either going to be pretty much Lamar Jackson or Gus Edwards going to get those rushing touchdowns. You could get a Gus Edwards, right? 3 vulture or 2 vulture touchdowns from the 1-yard line, plunge in, but he's 7,400, man. Almost $2,000 cheaper is a guy like Keaton Mitchell who can take a draw play to the house, right, for 60 yards. So I do have interest in him. If I was punting, it'd probably be a guy like Justice Hill in that range. But the way I'm kind of approaching the slate is going a little bit more of the mid-tier captain, so I can play just better plays in the flex here and not have to venture down into this lower tier range and round out my teams with a kicker or a defense, right? I do like the Ravens defense here at 4,400. They're probably going to be pretty chalky here. I'm seeing a lot of ownership right now as it stands right now, but I mean, 4,400 here. The Jags O-line is very bad against pass rush as well. I think they're like 30th in the league in terms of rankings for the pass rush win rate, right? Which leads to a lot of sacks. And then you got obviously Trevor Lawrence hobbled with that ankle. I'm still dealing with that ankle there. So 4,400, I do like that. Both the kickers are fine. Justin Tucker, McManus. I prefer Tucker just because I think he's the better kicker. I like Baltimore to win the game. So naturally that just leads to possibly more field goal attempts because Baltimore should be winning. They're usually less likely to go for it on 4th down. Jacksonville kind of goes from wherever they want on the field as well, which I don't love that a ton. Keaton Mitchell, I like that. I do have a little bit more interest in Zay Jones here. I mean, Zay Jones's role came on big time last week, right? We seen that. I mean, his route participation was up north of 60, 70%. He was heavily involved in the offense. Didn't lean to a lot of fantasy points. So that could keep his ownership in check here. I'm seeing about 15 to 20% ownership on him. Obviously, it's early in the day. Ownership's all over the plate, all over the board. But he saw 14 targets last week, 8 targets the week before that. I do have more interest in Zay Jones than it sounds like you do. Dearness Johnson, not going to get to any Dearness Johnson. Love likely at his price point at 6,800. Really like him. Really like Evan Ingram at 7,600. And then Keaton Mitchell is kind of my other guy. Parker Washington. I don't think I can go back to a guy like Parker Washington. I get it. He scored a touchdown in back-to-back weeks, but man, you're really banking on kind of striking lightning in a bottle, and he's up to 4K. If he was down at 1,200, 2K, maybe. But man, he's going to get maybe 4 targets. And he really needs to get you some yards and catch a touchdown at that price point. Because I think for $400 cheaper, I'd rather go to like the Jags defense who can force turnovers, get sacks, and automatically start with 10 points on the slate, right? Any final takes on any of what I just mentioned at the flex position? Any additional flex remarks you want to make here?
No, I think we covered both of it. I mean, you're gonna have to get unique tonight, right, to try to fit these guys because the big boys, that big boy price tag. So it's gonna be, we're gonna have to find a way to get different and find 6 guys to play in there tonight.
Yeah, another guy I do want to throw out too is Rashad Bateman here at 3,200. I mean, he's on the field for like roughly 60%, right, of Lamar's dropbacks. We've seen him catch touchdowns, right? He's gotten 4 targets, 5 targets in the last 2 weeks, 2 targets, 4 targets, 5 targets. He's gone for 20-plus yards in 4 of the last 5, right? Caught a touchdown a couple weeks ago against Cincinnati. I mean, he's fine, I think, at 3,200. You're kind of splitting hairs between him and Justice Hill. Justice Hill is a little bit cheaper, but Justice Hill is also obviously the third guy in that backfield there behind Mitchell and Gus Edwards. So I think he's a fine value play there. But overall, I mean, I'm focused on the big dogs, right? Like kind of everyone is. That's kind of the reason I'm going down a little bit lower at captain position to kind of avoid all these unknowns down here. Is kind of the route I'm taking on this slate. Any remarks about that? Any closing remarks for you, Hamwich?
Yeah, nothing for me to add to that. I mean, like I said earlier, I think the Ravens win this game, and I think this game will be, closer to 41. I don't think it'll get, maybe 44 might be the max in my opinion. So I'm going to be playing it where it's going to be a lower scoring affair, having kickers, having defenses, not in the captain position, but I think I'll have a few of those in my builds.
Yeah, no, excellent. I think we broke it down pretty good. As always, in the comment section, drop your score predictions, drop your favorite captains. We do check that out. And if you haven't, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It helps us out a ton. As always, these shows are brought to you by ShipItNation.com. If you are not a member yet, head over to ShipItNation.com. Click on join now and get in the Discord, best Discord community in the industry. We got you covered for all premium sports, NFL, NBA, NHL, MMA, PGA, we got you covered. And then all the ancillary sports, we do have folks in the Discord community run channels as well that handle that. How much? I think we broke it down pretty well. Any closing remarks for the people before we get on out of here? And as always, good luck to you today in that FanDuel final. Hopefully you ship all the money there. What's your closing remarks, my man?
Yeah, nothing else. Nothing else in that. Yeah, good luck in your contest tonight. Hopefully, I'm sweating a live final chip, around kickoff. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, Brock Purdy's doing us well. I'm going to play me some Brock Purdy, I feel like. So let's roll Brock.
Yeah, let's roll Brock. Obviously, big, Brock there, the little 4-letter words that starts with a C, right? You want to say I'll keep it PG-13 on the show, but no, as always, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Good luck tonight in your contest. Hope to see those Shipping Nation logos at the top. Hopefully, Hamwich is coming off a live final victory before this game kicks off. And our guy, G Rising in the DraftKings streets. Hopefully, we got the double shipper, the double live final shippers for the Ship It Nation crew over here. But as always, for Hamwich, I'm Nadesify. Good luck tonight in your contest. Hope to see those Ship It Nation logos at the top. Let's ship it.